Rockets from the doorsteps. Wisdom like never before. Rockets from the doorsteps. Wisdom like never before. Not yes, from the doorsteps.
With Lady Linda Bediako.
What is your take on celebrities that become born again?
Let me first and foremost say that Bible says the heart of kings are in God's hands. He turns them whichever way he pleases. So celebrities are still human beings that God can touch. My only problem is celebrities that leave stage and straight away they walk onto pulpit. Stage is elevated, pulpit is elevated, but you see they are not the same mentality. On stage it's about me and I, but on the pulpit it's about the king, the Lord, the master. So you see, when somebody leaves a stage and you are coming to the pulpit, let there be a gap. Sit under a man of God. Let somebody train you. Let somebody work on you. Let somebody detoxify you. Let somebody help you take off the junk, the nonsense of your life. But you see, mommy, most of the times we leave the stage, we come to the pulpit. They are both elevated. We have the same sexual cravings, the same bad lifestyle, the same everything, and we want to do ministry. No, it doesn't work like that. And Samuel had to go to an Eli to learn. And Joshua had to go to a Moses. And Elisha had to go to Elijah. Why should yours be different? When you are from the secular side, you are powerful, because you have knowledge of one world. But you see, both worlds don't operate the same. If you remember the story of Zacchaeus, he said he wanted to see Jesus. So the Bible said he ran and then he climbed a tree. When Jesus got there, Jesus could have dealt with him on the tree, but Jesus told him, come down. Because in this side of the world, for you to go up, you must come down. But in that side, you must go up. You see the two worlds. So this is my issue. So people come, they get bitter, they leave because they did not purge. The Bible said something. Be ye transformed by the renewing. In the Greek, if you are talking about the renewing, is the word renovating your mind. When you become a born again, it's your spirit that becomes born again. Your body is not born again. Your mind is not born again. So your body you must subdue. Your mind you must renew. Then it can work. So anybody that comes, please, you are most welcome into the lovely family of Jesus Christ. But sit under someone. Be mentored. Be taught. Let somebody circumcise you. What do I mean by circumcision? Circumcision means taking off unwanted flesh. But you take it off at the place of reproduction so that you don't produce nonsense. And at the place of circumcision, blood comes out, so a covenant is established. You must sit under somebody. Somebody must work on you. Kabados. Guess what? When Paul had this encounter, they said, go to the house of so and so. He must work on you.
We know you've married your wife for over 20 years.
And still counting.
And still counting. What advice can you give to a young pastor's wife?
Dear pastor's wife, young one of course, I have some not so good news for you. A doctor will marry a woman and they will call the person a doctor's wife. It comes with no responsibility. A lawyer marries a woman, they'll call you a lawyer's wife. It comes with no responsibility. But a pastor marries somebody and it changes. The dynamics changes. Your hair is too long, too much. Your hair is too short, it's also a problem. You dress well, you are chopping money. You are not dressing, it's also a problem. Every pastor's wife must have a relationship of prayer with God. Because you are your husband's first armor bearer. You are his first intercessor. Dear pastor's wife, by default, you are in ministry because your husband is in ministry. When a prophecy came that I was going to do God's work, I called my wife. From the man that gave me the prophecy, he's home. I said, sweetheart, they say there's calling on my life. So by default, there's a calling on your life. Are you ready? He said, God will give us the grace. Dear pastor's wife, you'll be insulted. You'll be looked down upon. Some will despise you. Some will even have their own crashes on your husband. But you must be prayerful. Know that your warfare is not in the flesh. Please understand the terrain that you have got into. Please, you must also study. You must also be craving for the gift of discernment. Most of the men of God, all of us, we have one weakness. We love people. So there are times bad people come by us and we don't see. Because it takes our life to go like, okay. And they have ways for you to know that no, this particular person is not right. Dear pastor's wife, if you have a gift of discernment, knowing what is right, what is good, what is from God, what is not from God, you will be able to help your husband. Lastly, you might not have been called to preach, but you can stand by your man of God. And every man of God needs an intercessor. Hear me well. You are blockade. You are the one that is raising a hedge. You are raising a pillar. You are raising fire around your man. It's not an easy task. It is a good task. And also, make sure your husband eats good food so that he doesn't go and eat rubbish. You know what I mean?
So what advice do you have for a young pastor who is coming into the ministry?
Dear young pastor, it's so painful to bring you this information. A young pastor, do not judge your work, your ministry, your oil by that of somebody who has done 36 years and is on all the TV networks and is having all the big programs. And all of a sudden, God, you are not blessing me. Hey, stop that. Dear young man, don't forget that even when you were a baby, you crawled, you walked before you ran. Know that what you are doing is not your work, it's God's work. Don't take a decision without him. Do not plan without him. Do not pray without him. Understand that what you are doing is spiritual. If you are in ministry and you are not married and you have the wherewithal, please do. Because a man of God without a woman by you, it gives a different picture. Already those that are married, there are different pictures. And you are not married. Dear man of God, never do a counseling session with a lady
Without your wife.
under closed doors. Don't do that. Don't do that. Protect your oil. Guard your ministry. Ministry is about integrity. If your words and your actions are not integrated, I'm sorry, you've lost your ministry. Please be prayerful, be studious, steady to show yourself approved, a workman. That was the word God used. And dear young pastor, there is time to go full time. There is time. If it's not yet time, don't go and say, if you're not careful, you become a liar, you become a thief. I beg you. There is ministry has one essential component, and that component is called timing. Understand the times in which you are. Don't go and stop your job because nyamia freni. Then now you are hungry and you are hating God. You can be doing both, balancing like we said earlier on, but the God that called you will glorify.
Nuggets from the doorsteps, wisdom like never before. Nuggets from the doorsteps.
With Lady Linda Bediako.